Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things related to Common Sense. And you know, it's one of those things, Warner Brothers just has nothing but troubles when it comes to trying to make DC movies. I mean, we can go all the way back to like the Snyder era of things. Obviously, we had a really great run with some of the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, and all that kind of stuff. But after that, things just seem to always end up going sideways. Things seem to be going really well, and then Zack Snyder has all of his personal family issues and all that kind of stuff, and he has to step back from essentially running the DC universe. They hand it off to all these other people, and they completely and totally screw everything up. And well, needless to say, boys and girls, it looks like Warner Brothers' run of luck with DC movies out there is continuing to go sour, because it looks like now, according to some very recent reports, Matt Reeves will no longer be directing Batman Part 2, boys and girls, because his name has been removed from the listing. And this is absolutely wild. This is absolutely crazy. And obviously, there's been a lot of speculation going on in the media out there, what behind the scenes, what he's got going on. And I hear he's having a lot of personal issues, and that might be the very reason why, because this movie has been delayed over and over again, and it might be finally at the point where Matt Reeves realizes he's not going to be able to do this, and he has to completely and totally step back. I highly doubt Warner Brothers fired him after all the success they had with the first one, but it sounds like we will be looking for a new director for the Batman Part 2. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what's going on and where this information comes from. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just sailed past 1,800. We're on our way to 1,900, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Are you disappointed to see that Matt Reeves will most likely not be directing the Batman Part 2? Were you excited for this movie? Did you enjoy the original? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. Become a member, and you will get your name at the end credits of every one of our videos and all of our live streams. All right, thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Marvin Montanaro. Matt Reeves no longer directing the Batman Part 2, sequel set for production in 2026 with no director attached. And I'd imagine they are scrambling behind the scenes looking for someone. The Batman Part 2 is moving forward, but apparently not under the direction of Matt Reeves. According to a new released listing from Production Weekly, Reeves is no longer attached as director of the upcoming DC sequel and is now only credited as the film's screenwriter. The production is currently aiming for a March 2026 shoot in London with a revised release date of October 1st, 2027. So it's still going to end up being years before anybody actually gets to see this movie. And Production Weekly is one of those places where we get a lot of the stuff about like the casting information and like where we get like plot details from upcoming movies and stuff like that. It's a really good resource for all of that kind of stuff. So this news marks a dramatic shift for the franchise that Reeves helped shape from the ground up. The 2022 release of The Batman was met with critical acclaim and a strong box office showing, leading Warner Brothers to announce a full trilogy with Reeves at the helm. It did do pretty good. It wasn't fantastic. It didn't make $1 billion, but it did reasonably well, and sure as hell a whole hell of a lot better than anything else Warner Brothers had been putting out under their DC brand, which is why it pretty much immediately got a green light for a second one. And now this is what, 5, 6, 7 years late? 5 years. It'll be 5 years later before this movie actually comes out. It's kind of insane, but hey, that's just Warner Brothers' luck with directors, man. It's bad. I don't know what they did or what demon they made a deal with, but they just have the worst luck when it comes to their directors. I mean, Joker 2, anybody? What a disaster that was. So, of course, the sequel has since experienced multiple production delays and now the departure of its original director. Matt Reeves originally pitched The Batman as the first installment of a grounded trilogy exploring a younger, less refined version of Bruce Wayne. Drawing inspiration from noir detective stories and crime sagas like Zodiac and Chinatown, Reeves emphasized a psychological depth to Gotham's character. Interviews following the first film's release, Reeves spoke about building a rich world that can sustain multiple films and spin-offs, including the HBO's Max Penguin series, which released to critical acclaim. It was an absolute smash hit success for Warner Brothers, and for some reason they're not immediately greenlighting a second season of that either. I don't know if it's DC and all of James Gunn's new stuff, if that's not where they're wanting to do it, but that show was a success, and it gave HBO some of the best ratings they'd seen in a very long time, and they need to keep going with all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, Warner Brothers is like literally their own worst enemy, boys and girls. While Reeves has not publicly disclosed reasons behind his step back, speculation has been quietly building for months. In fact, Forbes and Paul Tassi hinted at a situation back in January 2025. Says, I've heard what Reeves is going through, Tassi said, and no, I'm not going to say what it is, but I will say it's serious and people really need to back off. And that's completely and totally understandable. The guy, it's his own private life, it's his own personal health concerns. People just need to leave him alone and let him figure out his stuff, let him take care of whatever he's got to take care of, and hopefully come back healthier than ever before and be able to actually continue going on being a great and critically acclaimed director. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, this wouldn't be the first time we've seen somebody disappear from the spotlight only to have them not end up coming back. And that's a sad thing to see. And so it's one of them situations where we'll have to wait and find out. I don't know if we'll ever publicly know, but needless to say, definitely give his family and all of them privacy and all that kind of stuff. Don't be harassing people about a movie that you want to come out. I mean, that would just be absolutely ridiculous. This early references suggested that those in the media circles were already well aware of a serious personal issue affecting Reeves, but chose not to elaborate out of respect for his privacy, and I can respect that. Unlike Grace Randolph. The issue re-entered the public spotlight last month when YouTube personality Grace Randolph referenced Reeves' situation in a video, controversially comparing it to that of the late Chadwick Boseman, which obviously we know Chadwick Boseman was battling cancer while he was filming some of those last movies and obviously sadly is no longer with us. So literally Grace Randolph is implying the exact same thing, that Matt Reeves has cancer and he's dying. It's like, really, Grace? Really? You're going to put this out there in the world like that? Everybody's going to know exactly what you mean if you compare it to Chadwick Boseman's. It's just really messed up. It's just really messed up. But hey, that's Grace Randolph for you sometimes, boys and girls. Her statement drew significant backlash online, with many criticizing the comparison as inappropriate and speculative. Despite Reeves stepping back as director, The Batman Part 2 remains in active development. Robert Pattinson, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, and Andy Serkis are all expected to return, and Reeves remains on board as co-writer alongside Matt Tallman. But it sounds like most of the writing part of things are definitely done. So The Batman Part 2 has been delayed multiple times, most recent delays set for October 27. These delays have unfolded amid a broader restructuring of DC's cinematic universe. We know that. They were going to call the Reeves movies Elseworld stories, so they wouldn't affect the main DCU timeline. This is all that kind of stuff out there. So, but despite the outside the new canon, the Batman remains one of DC's strongest performing standalone series post-Justice League. As of this writing, Warner Bros. Has not named a replacement director for Matt Reeves in The Batman Part 2. The studio will be waiting to make a formal announcement or seeking someone who can preserve Reeves' creative vision. Some fans online have speculated about potential successors, but no credible reports have emerged. With pre-production reportedly set to begin early 2026, the search for a new director will be a major point of interest over the oncoming months. And I mean, think about that too. Think about after the success of the first movie, right? And think about having to come in as the new director to come in there and try to fill Matt Reeves' shoes. I don't pity the man that gets the job, but I really do for all the fans' sake out there. I hope he does a really good job. And may the Lord be with Matt Reeves and his family with whatever he's got going on. Let him have their privacy. Let him figure it out. You know, hopefully there'll be a miracle happen and he'll be back healthier and better than ever before. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, The Batman Part 2 has lost its director and they're scrambling to find another one, I'm sure, behind the scenes right now. But at the end of the day, this is the way things go. And Warner Brothers, man, I'll tell you what, if they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all when it comes to directors. Now we've got another delay for The Batman Part 2, and just like what we saw with so many other things in the past, Warner Brothers has the worst track record with keeping their directors around and not having them tragedy. Boy, it makes you really think if you want to work for Warner Brothers Discovery, now doesn't it, boys and girls?